Is God silent, or has He abandoned you? Are you going the wrong way? There are moments in life when the silence is deafening. You cry out, you seek answers, you long for guidance, but the response is nothing but stillness. The weight of uncertainty settles deep in your soul, making you question everything. Why is nothing changing? Why do I feel lost? Has God abandoned me? These are questions that can haunt even the strongest heart. When life feels like a constant battle and the answers seem out of reach, it's easy to wonder if you are heading in the wrong direction. You try to push forward, but every step feels heavier than the last. It feels as if you are walking a path that leads to nowhere, a road that stretches endlessly without a sign of hope. But let me ask you this: what if silence is not abandonment? What if what feels like the wrong way is actually leading you to the right destination? The test of silence. Think back to some of the hardest moments of your life. Were they not the very moments that shaped you? Did they not force you to grow, to change, to rise above what you once thought possible? Silence can feel like a punishment, but sometimes it is a test. It is in these moments of stillness that you are being prepared for something greater. The silence is not a void. It is a space where transformation takes place. Imagine a teacher who has spent months guiding a student, explaining every lesson, answering every question. But when the final exam arrives, the teacher is silent. The silence doesn't mean the teacher has abandoned the student. It means the student is ready to apply what they have learned. Could it be that you are in the middle of your test? That the silence you fear is actually a sign of your growth? When the road feels wrong. Sometimes we assume that difficulty means we are on the wrong path, that if something isn't easy, it must not be meant for us. But look at the world around you. Anything meaningful, anything worthwhile requires perseverance. The strongest trees endure the harshest storms. The brightest diamonds are formed under immense pressure. The most resilient souls are forged through fire. The road you are on may be difficult, but that does not mean it is wrong. In fact, struggle is often proof that you are moving towards something significant. Have you ever climbed a mountain? The higher you go, the harder it becomes to breathe. The path gets steeper, the air gets thinner, and your muscles burn with exhaustion. But does that mean you should turn back? Or does it mean you are closer to the peak? Life is the same way. The moments that feel the hardest may actually be signs that you are nearing a breakthrough. What if you are being redirected? Now, let's talk about another possibility. What if the road you are on is the wrong one? That can be a terrifying thought. No one wants to feel like they've wasted time, energy, and faith on something that isn't meant for them. But here's the truth. Sometimes what looks like a failure is actually a course correction. A closed door is not rejection, it is redirection. Think about a GPS. When you take the wrong turn, does it yell at you? Does it abandon you? No. It simply recalculates the route. It finds another way. Life does the same thing. You may feel lost, but you are never beyond hope. The key is to stay open, to listen, to recognize the signs that are pointing you in a new direction. Is the silence forcing you to reevaluate your choices? Are you being called to let go of something that no longer serves you? Is there a new path waiting for you, one that you have been afraid to take? If the road you are on no longer fills you with purpose, if every step feels like you are forcing something that is not meant to be, then maybe it's time to turn in a new direction. trust in even when you can't see the way. Faith is not about seeing every step ahead. It is about taking the next step, even when the way is unclear. It is about believing that, even in the silence, there is purpose. Even in the waiting, there is growth. You may not hear an answer right now, but that does not mean there isn't one. A seed buried in the soil does not see the sunlight, but that does not mean the sun has disappeared. The seed grows in the darkness before it ever reaches the surface. Right now, you may feel like you are buried. You may feel like everything is against you. But what if you are not buried? What if you are planted? What if this season of silence is not the end, but the beginning of something greater than you could ever imagine? Hold on. Keep moving forward. The silence will not last forever. And when the time is right, you will understand why this journey was necessary. Number 1. There are moments in life when you feel like you are calling out for answers, but all you receive in return is silence. It can feel as though you have been left alone in your struggles, abandoned in the very moment you need guidance the most. This silence can be overwhelming, making you question your path, your purpose, and your faith. But just because you do not hear an immediate response does not mean you have been forgotten. Silence is not always a sign of abandonment. Sometimes it is a space for growth, a time of preparation for what lies ahead. Silence forces you to reflect. When things are loud, when life is moving fast, you rarely stop to listen to yourself. But in silence, you are given the opportunity to go inward, to examine your own thoughts, to build strength from within. If every answer was given instantly, you would never learn patience, resilience, or trust. Silence teaches you to rely on the wisdom you have already gained. It pushes you to move forward with faith, even when you cannot see the whole picture. It challenges you to grow beyond your doubts. Think about how a teacher works with a student. During lessons, the teacher gives guidance, corrects mistakes, and offers explanations. But during the test, the teacher is silent. This does not mean the teacher has abandoned the student. It means the student is now being given the chance to apply what they have learned. Life works in the same way. The silence you experience is not a punishment. It is an opportunity to step into your strength. It is a sign that you are capable of walking forward, even without constant reassurance. Many times, silence is misinterpreted as rejection. When doors do not open immediately, when prayers seem unanswered, it is easy to assume that you are being ignored. But just because things are not happening on your timeline does not mean they will not happen at all. Timing is everything. A seed does not sprout the moment it is planted. It takes time for it to develop roots, to grow beneath the soil. Your journey is the same. What feels like nothing happening is actually a season of preparation. If everything was handed to you immediately, you would not value the process. You would not develop the resilience needed to sustain your success. The struggles you face in moments of silence are shaping you, strengthening you, and preparing you for what is to come. Instead of seeing silence as abandonment, view it as training. Every difficult moment, every unanswered question, every delay is working in your favor. You are being molded into someone who can handle the blessings, responsibilities, and challenges that the future holds. It is easy to feel forgotten when life feels stagnant. When you are waiting for a breakthrough, when progress seems slow, you may begin to doubt yourself. But silence is not an indication that you are lost. It is a sign that you are in the middle of something important. If you stop moving forward just because you do not see results immediately, you may be giving up right before everything falls into place. Keep pushing forward. Keep believing. The silence you experience today is not permanent. It is simply a phase in your journey. Many of the greatest achievements in history were preceded by long periods of uncertainty. Inventors spent years in failure before finding success. Artists worked in obscurity before being recognized. Leaders endured hardships before reaching their greatest moments. They all faced silence. They all questioned their paths. But what separated them from those who gave up was their ability to trust the process. They understood that silence was not a dead end. It was simply part of the journey. You must hold on to that same belief. The silence you face now is shaping you for something greater. When you are faced with silence, take it as an opportunity for self-discovery. Ask yourself what lessons you have already learned. Reflect on the strength you have built through past experiences. Instead of waiting for an external answer, look within. Many times, the answers you seek are already inside you, but fear or doubt prevents you from acknowledging them. This period of silence could be an invitation to trust yourself, to develop confidence in your ability to make decisions, and to embrace the path ahead without hesitation. Silence can feel endless, but it does not last forever. Just as night always turns into day, just as winter always gives way to spring, the stillness you experience now will eventually be replaced with clarity. The breakthrough you are waiting for is on its way. But will you endure the silence long enough to reach it? Or will you give up too soon? Many people walk away from their dreams because they mistake silence for failure. Do not let that be you. Keep holding on, keep moving forward. Answers will come when the time is right. Trust that the silence you experience now has a purpose. It is not there to break you, but to build you. It is not a sign of abandonment, but a test of your ability to keep going despite uncertainty. What seems like emptiness is actually a period of transformation. Just like a caterpillar in a cocoon, you may not see immediate change, but something powerful is happening beneath the surface. When the time is right, you will emerge stronger, wiser, and ready for the next chapter of your journey. Keep going. The silence is only temporary. Number 2. Challenges do not mean you are on the wrong path. Life has a way of testing you. When you decide to step forward in faith, the moment you commit to a new goal, a higher purpose, or a better version of yourself, obstacles begin to appear. Challenges arise, doors close, and setbacks make you question if you are on the right path. It is natural to wonder, if I was meant to do this, why is it so hard? But difficulty does not mean you are going the wrong way. In fact, the very presence of challenges often confirms that you are moving in the right direction. Growth is never comfortable. If you think about any significant transformation in life, it comes with struggle. A seed must break through the soil to become a tree. A caterpillar must endure the isolation of a cocoon before it can fly. A diamond is formed under immense pressure. Every great achievement is born from a process that includes discomfort, struggle, and perseverance. If you face challenges on your journey, it is not a sign that you should turn back. It is proof that you are stepping into something greater than you have ever known before. Many people assume that if something is meant to be, it will happen effortlessly. This is a dangerous belief. Nothing worthwhile comes without effort. If success was easy, everyone would have it. The truth is, struggle refines you. It tests your commitment, strengthens your character, and prepares you for the responsibilities that come with the next level of your life. If the road you are walking is difficult, consider that you may be walking the path that few have the courage to take. The challenge is not there to stop you, it is there to shape you. When difficulties arise, it is easy to think that life is pushing you away from your dreams. But what if life is actually pushing you toward them? The challenges you face are not random. They are part of your preparation. Just like an athlete must train through pain to build strength, you must endure struggles to build resilience. If you quit the moment things become difficult, you will never experience the reward that comes from perseverance. Every obstacle is an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more determined than before. The presence of obstacles does not mean you are failing. It means you are being refined. If you were to climb a mountain, the path would get steeper the closer you get to the top. The air would get thinner, your muscles would ache, and the climb would become harder. But would that mean you are on the wrong path? No. It would mean that you are making progress. The struggle is not a signal to turn back. It is a sign that you are nearing something great. Keep climbing. The view from the top is worth the effort. If you only moved forward when the journey was easy, you would never reach your full potential. Think of the people you admire, those who have accomplished great things, overcome adversity, and built meaningful lives. None of them did so without challenges. The difference between those who succeed and those who give up is not intelligence, talent, or luck. It is the ability to keep going despite the obstacles. The greatest breakthroughs often happen right after the hardest moments. Do not let temporary struggle convince you to walk away from something that is meant for you. Your struggles are shaping you. Every difficulty you face is teaching you something valuable. The pain you feel today is strengthening you for tomorrow. The setbacks you experience are redirecting you towards something even greater. If you could see the full picture, you would understand that nothing is working against you. Even in the hardest moments, everything is happening for your growth. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" start asking, "What is this teaching me?" A shift in perspective can turn obstacles into stepping stones toward your greatest achievements. Many people assume that resistance means they are not supposed to continue, but think about flying a kite. The stronger the wind, the higher it soars. Resistance does not mean you should stop. It means you should push through. The hardest moments often come right before a breakthrough. The people who succeed are not the ones who never struggle. They are the ones who refuse to give up. No matter how difficult things seem, keep moving forward. Every challenge is shaping you for the success that is waiting ahead. The struggle will not last forever, but the strength you gain from it will. A closed door is often redirection, not rejection. When something you hoped for doesn't work out, it is easy to feel rejected. A lost opportunity, an unexpected ending, or a dream that doesn't unfold the way you envisioned can leave you questioning everything. You might wonder, did I make a mistake? Was I not good enough? Why is this happening to me? But what if the closed door you are facing is not rejection, but redirection? What if this setback is actually pushing you towards something better than you could have imagined? Sometimes, the doors that do not open are the ones that protect you from settling for less. Life has a way of guiding you, even when it feels like everything is falling apart. Think about a time when something didn't go as planned, only for you to later realize that it was a blessing in disguise. Maybe you didn't get the job you wanted, only to later find an opportunity that was even better. Maybe a relationship ended, and though it was painful, it led you to discover your own strength. Looking back, you can often see how the things that didn't work out actually worked in your favor. The challenge is trusting this process while you are in the middle of it. Not every opportunity is meant for you. Some doors close because they are not aligned with your true purpose. It might seem perfect from your perspective, but you don't always see the full picture. Sometimes what looks like a great opportunity is actually a distraction from what you are truly meant to do. Instead of forcing a door open that is resisting you, consider that there may be something better waiting ahead. Trust that when one path is blocked, another is being revealed, even if you cannot see it yet. Think about navigation systems. When you take a wrong turn, the GPS does not give up on you. It simply recalculates the route. Life works the same way. Just because something didn't go as planned doesn't mean you are lost. It simply means you are being redirected to a different path. Instead of seeing a closed door as an end, view it as guidance. The things that don't work out are often protecting you from a road. Trust that every detour has a purpose, even if it doesn't make sense yet. People often waste time chasing things that are not meant for them, thinking that if they try harder they can force it to work. But have you ever tried to force a puzzle piece into the wrong spot? No matter how much you push, it will never fit correctly. The same is true for life. If something is not working despite your best efforts, maybe it's not because you are failing, maybe it's because you are meant to be somewhere else. Instead of focusing on the door that closed, shift your attention to what new doors might be opening. Rejection is often redirection towards something greater. Some of the most successful people in the world faced rejection before they found their breakthrough. Famous authors were told their books weren't good enough. Entrepreneurs had their ideas dismissed. Actors were told they wouldn't make it. If they had accepted rejection as the final answer, they would have never reached their full potential. But they understood that rejection was not a stop sign. It was a detour towards something better. The same is true for you. What seems like failure today could be the stepping stone to your greatest success. Trusting the process is not always easy. It requires patience and faith in the unknown. But the more you embrace the idea that every closed door is guiding you, the less frustration you will feel when things don't go as planned. Instead of resisting change, learn to flow with it. Every delay is leading you closer to the right yes. Every delay is preparing you for what's ahead. You are not being rejected, you are being redirected. Keep moving forward, because the best is yet to come. Uncertainty does not mean you are lost. There comes a time in life when everything feels uncertain. You question your direction, your decisions, and even your purpose. It feels like you are walking in a fog, with no clear path ahead. You may wonder if you are making the right choices, or if you have already made a wrong turn. Uncertainty can be overwhelming, but it does not mean you are lost. It is simply a sign that you are in the middle of growth. Every person who has ever achieved something great has faced moments of uncertainty. The difference between those who succeed and those who give up is the ability to keep moving forward, despite not having all the answers. Think about the times in your life when you were most certain about something. Maybe you were certain about a career path, a relationship, or a personal goal. But then life shifted, and suddenly things didn't seem so clear anymore. This is a natural part of the journey. Certainty is comforting, but it does not lead to growth. Growth happens in the unknown, in the moments when you are forced to trust yourself, even when you don't have a perfect plan. If you are experiencing uncertainty right now, it is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that you are stepping into something bigger than your comfort zone. Uncertainty forces you to build resilience. When you don't know exactly what to do next, you learn to rely on your own instincts, your past experiences, and your inner wisdom. It teaches you to think critically, to adapt, and to develop the strength to handle whatever comes next. If everything in life was predictable, there would be no need for faith, courage, or perseverance. The challenges of uncertainty are shaping you into someone who can handle more, dream bigger, and achieve greater things than you ever imagined. Instead of resisting uncertainty, try to embrace it. It is not a sign of being lost. It is a sign of transformation. Many people mistake uncertainty for failure. They assume that if they were on the right path, everything would feel clear and easy. But the truth is, every great achievement comes with seasons of doubt. The people who accomplish the most in life are not the ones who had all the answers from the start. They are the ones who were willing to take the first step, even when the path ahead was unclear. They kept going despite their fears, and over time the road revealed itself. Clarity does not come from standing still and waiting for certainty. It comes from moving forward and figuring things out along the way. Think about someone learning to drive for the first time. In the beginning, they are unsure of every move. They grip the wheel tightly, second-guess every turn, and feel overwhelmed by all the decisions they have to make. But as they keep driving, something changes. The road that once seemed complicated starts to feel familiar. Their movements become more natural. The uncertainty fades, not because the road has changed, but because they have grown. The same is true in life. What feels unclear today will one day become second nature. But you have to keep going to get there. Uncertainty also teaches you patience. In a world that demands instant results, it is easy to feel frustrated when things don't happen on your timeline. You want answers now. You want results now. You want success now. But true growth does not happen overnight. Some of the most important things in life require time to develop. A tree does not bear fruit the day it is planted. It takes seasons of growth, change, and challenges before it reaches its full potential. If you are in a season of uncertainty, trust that you are still growing, even if you can't see the results yet. One of the greatest lessons uncertainty teaches is the power of trusting yourself. When you don't have a clear roadmap, you are forced to rely on your own intuition, intelligence, and experiences. You start to realize that you are more capable than you thought. The doubts that once held you back begin to lose their power. You learn that you can handle challenges, navigate change, and make decisions even without a perfect plan. Over time, you develop confidence, not because everything is certain, but because you have learned to trust yourself in the midst of uncertainty. Fear often accompanies uncertainty. It is normal to be afraid of making the wrong choice, of failing, or of wasting time. But fear is not a sign that you should stop. It is a sign that you are stepping into something meaningful. The things that scare you the most are often the things that will lead to your greatest growth. If you let fear dictate your actions, you will stay in the same place forever. But if you push through fear, if you take action despite the uncertainty, you will discover strength and resilience you never knew you had. Think of the great explorers in history. They set sail without knowing exactly where they would end up. They didn't wait for a perfect map. They moved forward with faith, knowing that the only way to discover new lands was to keep going. Your journey is the same. You may not have all the answers now, but that does not mean you should stop moving. Every step you take, no matter how small, is leading you somewhere important. The answers you seek will come in time, but only if you keep going. Uncertainty is not a roadblock. It is a doorway to new possibilities. It is an invitation to grow, to learn, and to discover what you are truly capable of. If everything was predictable, you would never push yourself to new heights. You would never discover your true strength. So instead of seeing uncertainty as a problem, see it as a challenge to rise higher. See it as proof that you are stepping into something greater than you have known before. Keep moving forward, even when the path is unclear. The journey may not always be easy, but every step is leading you toward a future filled with potential and purpose. Silence does not mean absence. There are moments in life when you seek guidance, answers, and signs, but all you get is silence. You pray, you meditate, you search for meaning, yet there is no clear response. The silence can feel deafening. It can feel like abandonment. You may wonder, why is nothing happening? Why do I feel alone? Has God turned away from me? But silence does not mean absence. Just because you cannot hear or see the answer right now, does not mean that you have been forgotten. Silence is often a sign that something is happening beneath the surface, beyond what you can immediately perceive. In nature, some of the most profound transformations happen in silence. A seed is buried in the soil, hidden from sight, yet deep underground it is breaking open, growing roots and preparing to emerge. The process is invisible for a time, but that does not mean it is not happening. The same is true for your life. Just because you do not see immediate changes does not mean progress is not being made. Growth often happens in unseen places before it becomes visible to the world. Silence is not punishment, it is preparation. Sometimes, when you feel like nothing is happening, life is actually preparing you for something greater. The delay is not denial. It is a time of strengthening, learning, and refining. When everything is silent, you are given a chance to listen more deeply, to reflect on your path, and to develop patience. It is easy to trust when things are going well, but real trust is built in the quiet moments, when you have no choice but to wait and believe that something is still working in your favor. Think about a teacher during a test. When students are being tested, the teacher does not speak. This does not mean the teacher is absent. It simply means the students have reached a moment where they must apply what they have already learned. Similarly, when you experience silence in your life, it may be a sign that you already have the wisdom and strength you need. You just have to trust yourself and keep moving forward. The silence is not rejection. It is an invitation to grow. Silence teaches you to listen differently. When life is noisy, it is easy to be distracted by the voices and opinions of others. But in silence, you are forced to go inward, to listen to your intuition and to find strength within yourself. This is why silence can feel uncomfortable, because it removes distractions and forces you to face what is inside. But if you embrace it, you will discover clarity and wisdom that you never noticed before. The answers you are looking for may already be within you, waiting to be heard. Many people assume that if they do not receive an immediate answer, it means they are being ignored or abandoned. But consider this: some of the best things in life take time to unfold. A flower does not bloom overnight. A masterpiece is not created in a day. Just because you do not see results now does not mean they are not coming. Trust the process. What is meant for you is still unfolding, even in the quiet moments. Silence can also be a sign that you need to take action. Sometimes, you wait for a clear sign before moving forward, but life is waiting for you to take the first step. If you feel stuck in silence, ask yourself, am I waiting for an answer that I already know deep down? Fear often disguises itself as waiting. You may be afraid to make a choice, so you convince yourself that you need more confirmation. But deep inside, you might already know what you need to do. The silence is not a lack of guidance. It is an opportunity for you to trust yourself and act. Consider the process of making bread. After kneading the dough, it must sit in stillness to rise. If you try to rush the process, the bread will not develop properly. The waiting period is essential for the final result to be what it was meant to be. The same is true for your life. If everything came instantly, you would not be fully prepared to handle what is ahead. The waiting period, the silence, is a necessary part of becoming who you are meant to be. Silence is also a time of deep transformation. Think about a caterpillar in its cocoon. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening, but inside, a complete transformation is taking place. The caterpillar is dissolving into something entirely new, preparing to emerge as a butterfly. If you are in a season of silence, consider that you might be in your own cocoon. What seems like stillness is actually preparation. You are not stuck. You are transforming. Many people walk away from their dreams because they mistake silence for failure. They assume that if things are not happening fast enough, it must mean they are on the wrong path. But nothing great happens overnight. The most successful people in the world endured long periods of silence before their breakthrough. They did not quit just because they could not see results immediately. They trusted that even in the quiet moments, something was working in their favor. Instead of fearing silence, learn to embrace it. Use it as a time for reflection, for strengthening your inner foundation, and for preparing yourself for what is to come. Silence is not emptiness. It is space for something new to be created. It is an opportunity to build patience, resilience, and trust. When things are quiet, remind yourself, this is not the end. This is a chapter of growth. If you are facing silence right now, do not give up. Keep believing, keep moving forward, and keep trusting that things are working in your favor, even if you cannot see it yet. The silence will not last forever. One day you will look back and realize that everything was falling into place, even when it felt like nothing was happening. The quiet seasons are not signs of abandonment. They are proof that something greater is being prepared. Stay strong, stay patient, and know that the silence is not the end of your story. You are closer than you think. There are moments in life when you feel like you have been struggling for too long. You have been working, hoping, pushing forward, yet nothing seems to change. You may start to wonder if you should just give up. You look at how far you still have to go, and it feels overwhelming. But what if you are closer than you think? What if your breakthrough, your success, your moment of clarity is just beyond the point where most people quit? Many people give up right before they reach what they have been working toward. They assume that because they cannot see progress, nothing is happening. But just like a seed that is growing beneath the surface, before it breaks through the soil, your efforts are creating results that you may not be able to see yet. Progress is often invisible before it becomes undeniable. The difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who don't is the ability to keep going when there is no visible sign that things are working. Imagine a person digging for treasure. They have been digging for days, exhausted and discouraged, and they finally decide to give up. But what they don't realize is that if they had just kept going for a few more inches, they would have struck gold. This is exactly what happens in life. Most people quit when they are just inches away from success. But you are not most people. You have the strength to keep going. Sometimes, the struggle is hardest right before the breakthrough. When things feel the most difficult, it is often because you are close to something significant. Growth and transformation are uncomfortable. Just like a caterpillar must struggle to break free from its cocoon to become a butterfly, you must push through challenges to reach your next level. If you stop now, you will never know how close you were. Doubt will try to convince you that you are wasting your time. Fear will tell you that it's safer to quit. But doubt and fear are liars. They show up the strongest when you are on the edge of something great. When you feel like quitting, that is the moment to dig deeper, to remind yourself why you started, and to take just one more step forward. One more step can change everything. Think about all the great achievements in history. Every success story is filled with moments of doubt, failure, and uncertainty. The people who make history are not the ones who never struggle. They are the ones who refuse to give up. They understand that setbacks are part of the journey. If they had given up when things got hard, their stories would have never been written. The same is true for you. One of the biggest mistakes people make is measuring progress only by what they can see. But transformation happens in stages. Think of water heating up to boil. For a long time it looks like nothing is happening, but once it reaches the right temperature, It starts to bubble, and then suddenly it's boiling. The same is true for your journey. Just because you don't see big changes yet does not mean they are not happening. You are stronger than you realize. You have already come so far. Look back at everything you have overcome. The challenges, the disappointments, the moments when you thought you wouldn't make it. But you did. You are still standing. You are still moving forward. That is proof that you have what it takes to keep going. The hardest battles are given to those who are strong enough to fight them. Even when it feels like nothing is working, trust that your efforts are building something. Every small action, every day you push forward, every time you refuse to quit, it all adds up. You are laying a foundation for something bigger than you can see right now. The key is to keep going long enough to see it come to life. So if you feel like giving up, remember this: you are closer than you think. The finish line is not as far as it seems. Keep pushing. Keep believing. Your breakthrough could be just one more step away. Conclusion: the silence, the struggle, and the breakthrough. Life is a journey filled with moments of uncertainty, silence, struggle, and doubt. At times you may feel lost, abandoned, or unsure if you are moving in the right direction. You may question whether you are making progress or simply wandering in circles. But through it all, one truth remains: you are not alone, and you are not forgotten. The challenges you face, the silence you endure, and the doubts that try to shake you are not signs of failure. They are part of the process of growth, transformation, and eventual success. When you feel like you cannot hear or see any sign of progress, remember that silence does not mean absence. Just because you are not receiving immediate answers does not mean that nothing is happening. Some of the greatest transformations take place in the quiet moments. The seed buried in the ground does not grow instantly, but over time it breaks through the soil and reaches for the sky. The caterpillar in the cocoon does not emerge overnight, but in stillness it undergoes a complete transformation before spreading its wings. Likewise, you are being prepared for something greater, even if you cannot yet see the full picture. Uncertainty does not mean you are lost. It is easy to assume that if you are on the right path, everything would be clear and effortless. But the truth is, every great journey comes with moments of confusion. The most successful people in the world did not start with all the answers. They moved forward despite not knowing exactly where they were going. The path reveals itself as you walk it. Clarity comes from action, not from waiting. If you keep going, you will eventually look back and see that every step, even the ones that felt uncertain, was leading you exactly where you needed to be. The struggle you are facing is not a sign to quit. It is proof that you are growing. Growth is never easy. It stretches you, challenges you, and forces you to become stronger. If everything in life came easily, there would be no need for perseverance, faith, or resilience. The struggle is shaping you into the person who can handle the blessings that are waiting for you. Do not let temporary discomfort cause you to walk away from something that was meant for you. Every challenge is a stepping stone, every obstacle is an opportunity, and every moment of doubt is a test of how much you are willing to fight for what you want. Fear and doubt will try to convince you to stop. They will whisper lies telling you that you are not good enough, that you are wasting your time, or that you will never succeed. But fear and doubt only have power if you listen to them. The truth is, the people who achieve greatness are not the ones who never felt afraid. They are the ones who felt fear and kept going anyway. They understood that fear is a part of the journey, but it does not have to control the outcome. You have the power to move forward, even when you are afraid. One of the greatest mistakes you can make is to give up too soon. Too many people quit when they are just steps away from success. They assume that because they cannot see the finish line, it must be far away. But what if you are closer than you think? What if your breakthrough is just beyond this moment of struggle? The road may feel long, but every step you take brings you closer. Even when progress is invisible, it is still happening. Trust that you are moving forward, even if it does not feel like it. If you are in a season of silence, trust that something is still unfolding. Just because you do not hear an answer now, does not mean that one is not coming. Silence is a space for reflection, growth, and preparation. Sometimes you are not receiving an answer because you already have the wisdom inside you. Other times, the answer is coming, but the timing is not yet right. Either way, do not mistake silence for abandonment. You are still being guided, still being supported, and still on the right path. When everything feels difficult, remember why you started. Go back to the reason you began this journey in the first place. Remind yourself of your dreams, your goals, and the vision you have for your life. Let that be your motivation to keep going. Obstacles will come, but they do not have to stop you. The only way you fail is if you stop moving forward. As long as you are taking steps, no matter how small, you are still in the race. You have already come so far. Look at everything you have overcome. The moments you thought would break you, but didn't. The challenges that tried to stop you, but failed. The doubts that filled your mind, yet you kept pushing forward anyway. You are stronger than you realize. If you have made it this far, you have the strength to keep going. Do not let frustration cause you to give up when you are on the edge of something great. Success is not about never struggling. It is about refusing to quit. It is about believing in yourself even when things are uncertain. It is about trusting that every challenge is part of a bigger plan. It is about knowing that silence is not the end. It is a moment of preparation before the breakthrough. So keep going, keep believing. Keep trusting that your journey is leading you somewhere meaningful. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. You are not failing. You are in the process of becoming everything you were meant to be. You are closer than you think. The breakthrough you have been waiting for is ahead.